from Loudmouth Central, you're listening to Loudmouth Fisticuffs, hosted by combat sports analyst Joshua Furs and international ring announcer Mr. Live Worldwide Jeff Houston. Half sports show, half comedy show, and half conspiracy show. 100% in your face. So open your ears, shut your mouth, and have a good fucking time.
Dun 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 dun.
How long does that fucking last, man? I'm gonna tell you that that's rocking out a little bit too long to actually bring us live to the world.
I might cut it back a little bit.
It
kind of gives me a second to like rock out before we start. Dun 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 dun.
What are you at a Metallica concert? I mean, you can't rock out without it. Oh my god.
Hey man, don't hate on Metallica, guys. Loudmouth Fisticuffs. In your face, in your mouths, and every orifice that we can think of. Episode 42.
You're so nasty.
You're so nasty.
You're so nasty.
Boy, you.
Excuse me, sir. I need to check your asshole.
Let's check your asshole. Asshole clear. Episode 42. I am Joshua Furs. That over there, the ringmaster himself, Mr. Live Worldwide. Jeffrey Houston, we appreciate
fuck that shit. Hey, what did I tell you about the legal? Fuck the legal, man. Jeff Houston.
How you doing, sir? How you doing today?
I'm doing a lot better now that you got that shit cut out. But fantastic. Loudmouth Central has never been hotter, never been wetter, never been ready for whatever comes its way. It doesn't matter what it is. Just think about forward thrust and you're on your way.
Well, I'm loose as a goose.
Oh, you're looser than cream corn is what you are.
Well, there's a lot of stuff to talk about. Some of it,
as always,
good. Some of it not so good, as always.
But before we get into the meat and potatoes of the discussion, I want to talk about something. I don't know if you have seen this as of yet, but this past March the 5th was the release on Amazon Prime Video of the sequel of Coming to America. Did you get an opportunity to see it?
I have not seen it yet.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to throw any spoilers out there, but I did post about it briefly. And the one thing that I'd like to say, of course, is that the first one was better, loads better. This one was cute. I mean, it was overdone. It was overacted. It was way over the top, just like I thought. But there's an interesting fact, an interesting side note that I did not know about the production of this movie. I had no idea that a lot of the shots from the Zamundan Palace were actually shot in the home of Rick Ross.
Wow.
I had no idea about that because I keep forgetting he has that ridiculous palatial estate. It's like 50,000 square feet. What does one person need that much for? I mean, seriously, man. I mean, obviously, if you got a house that big, obviously property taxes and utilities are not a concern.
Yeah.
But I found that very interesting and such. I'm not too
plus
sure.
You got to have people just to fucking maintain that house. It's so big. You would have to hire people.
No, you have to have a team. I mean, it's not just as simple as It's not just as simple as hiring a housekeeper. You have to have like a team of people in order to do that. I mean, it's a staff. It's not just one or two, like, you see with Wayne Manor and, tiny little, 90-pound, Alfred taking care of everything. I'm like, I don't think so.
Could you imagine like having a fucking staff? Like, oh, I have to go tend to my staff. And there's fucking people like all over your mansion.
Well, the thing about it is, for something that big, you actually probably have to have like a side house just for your staff, so that they're not living 100% on property. I mean, most houses like that usually have servants' quarters and such. But when you're talking about a house that big, it'd probably be more beneficial for you and especially for privacy, to actually have a separate servant's home house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They're on quarters. They're on premise.
Well, they got exactly. They want their friends to come over. They want to hang out and everything. They can have that on their premises and not necessarily mine. So that would make a whole lot of sense for that. But it was a cute movie. I'm still trying to understand the continuation of the mighty barbershop quartet looking exactly as we left them in 1988. However, Hollywood thrives in suspension of disbelief. So we just kind of leave it at that. But it was cute. I will say this. It's worth a watch through. Will I watch it again? Probably not. Probably not. But was it worth a watch through once? Absolutely. Absolutely.
Real quick, too, I want to give a shout out to Kane Tomlinson. Sent me this shirt. Kane the Beast Tomlinson, a pretty kick-ass shirt. Fits great, too. Toe the Line, BKFC, Smith Brothers Management. Feels good. Feels like fucking butter. Appreciate that.
How do you know what butter feels like? I mean, are you into some really kinky shit to where you actually know what a butter t-shirt feels like? Everybody says soft and buttery when it comes to a t-shirt. That's a whole other visit to your psychiatrist. In that sense, what does buttery feel like? I've never worn a butter.
It's slang.
Well, it's bad slang.
It's not bad. It feels like, but soft like butter. Butter is soft.
What about velvety? Velvety is soft.
Sure.
Soft like cotton. So, cotton is soft.
You know what else is velvety? What? Ice cream. Ice cream can be velvety.
Ice cream can be velvety, but you do not wear ice cream unless you're into some kinky shit. Now, if you're into kinky shit,
cheese sauce can be velvety. I don't know if that's the right.
Like I said, kinky shit. I mean, you've seen the movie 9.5 Weeks. Now you're taking it one step further than that and such. I mean, this is literally, Hot Shots material. Nasty, nasty stuff. I'm sorry. I've never been a fan of the whole erotic foods thing. I mean, leave everything in its place. If I want to fuck, I fuck. If I want to eat, if I want to drink, I drink. I don't need to combine the two unless I'm having some sushi off of a beautiful naked body. Now that I can handle.
I don't even know what my original statement was.
You're not supposed to.
The shirt, because I said the shirt was buttery soft. Anyway, point taken. Thank you, Kane Tomlinson. I appreciate you, big dog.
Appreciate you
for the shirt.
I want to give a shout out to a good buddy of mine and UFC legend Frank Mir is going to be in my neck of the woods this weekend. He is going to be making an appearance at the CBD American Shaman store on Days of Allah Road. He's going to be there on Saturday from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Going to go down, say hello to my good friend. I've known Frank for about 5 years now. And take him out for some proper South Texas dinner.
Good.
Absolutely.
Ask him why he took the fight against Tarver.
I know why he took the fight. He took the fight for a payday. Triller is throwing out.
I get
Triller's
that.
Throwing out money, and it's a main event. Why wouldn't you take a money in a main event spot on a brand new promotion, especially when it's hot?
Is it the main event?
It is.
No, because it's on. No, because it's on the Jake Paul.
It might be the co. Oh, that's right.
I think it's the co.
The fact that Jake Paul is the main event to begin with is absolutely abhorrent. But I understand it. The guy's got a social media following like no other and such. But I agree with Dana. I think that Jake Paul is going to get his ass kicked.
I don't know, man.
Because Jake Paul's no fucking fighter in the long run. I mean, he has a puncher's chance just like anybody else, but he's not a fighter. He's not a fighter. He wants to be a fighter. He wants to be one so bad that he's doing everything ridiculous. And you know how it is now, Josh. All you have to do is do ridiculous shit online and you go viral. It doesn't even matter if it has any validity. It doesn't matter if anything that they do is warranted. It just has to be ridiculous shit. And guess what? You're fucking famous. That's the sad state of affairs. But he knows how to make money. He's had a social media following for fucking ever and such, and he's done pretty well. But now he's going in there against a legitimate fighter. Now, a fighter that may not be known for a hardcore striker.
Yeah.
Who's making that transition over that
at all.
Yeah. Yes, but neither is Jake Paul. Jake Paul had a couple of fucking fights. I mean, he's not a fucking fighter. He is a celebrity, posing as a fighter.
I mean, yeah, but devil's advocate here. If you do go back the last, I know, at least 2 or 3 years, like hardcore, but like he has been training with like some legit people. I'm not
over a period of what? Over a period of what? A couple of years, as opposed to
years.
As opposed to regular people who have been doing it a lifetime and know what a fight camp is truly about.
Understood. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, it's not like it's just some dude right off the street either. Like, he's not just like right off the street, put some gloves on him. Like, he's been training like hardcore. Like, I'm not trying to like give him.
Hey, I'm a little jealous,
per se.
dude. I'm jealous of him. I'm not going to be a hypocrite. I'm fucking jealous of him a little bit because he gets to do stupid shit and he gets paid. I'm jealous of that, man. I'd love to be able to get away with that. Unfortunately, I'm not that stupid. I'm a very smart person, so therefore, I'm not going to get away with doing stupid shit and actually get paid for it. But more power to him. I'm jelly about the fact that he gets paid for doing stupid shit.
And then Mir versus Tarver, yeah, obviously it's a paycheck. I get that, but it's a mismatch.
Weird. But I think that's what I think it's a mismatch. But I think that's what they're going for. I think that's the idea behind everything, is the fact that it is a mismatch, and that's what they're going for.
Just so weird, How long has it been since Tarver fought?
It's been a while. It's been a good minute. I mean, he's been retired for some good time. I mean, more people know him, of course, as Mason the Lion Dixon from Rocky VI. And of course, for his long time over commentary with HBO Championship Boxing. He's done stints with Showtime. Of course, he was the part of the original duo with Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship.
Yeah.
I was waiting for him to actually toss his hat into the arena with Bare Knuckle, and it just never came to fruition. But now he has this opportunity with Triller, and he's going to be making money. And there's nothing wrong with that. At this point, people are just of the mind that it's money and it's free publicity.
Well, too, I mean, and here's the reality of it is, I mean, I get anything can happen because it's a fight, whatever. Anything can happen, but the reality is these guys, like, they're not really going to hurt each other too bad, with Triller. I know, like, Jake Paul did straight up knock that dude out, the basketball player or the football, whatever he was. But
this is a novelty, is what it is. It's a novelty when it comes to a lot of the main events. A lot of the main events are just showing as a novelty. It's almost Rocky Balboa syndrome. If you remember when they were looking for a legitimate contender in the first Rocky, and if you remember what Apollo said, without a ranked contender, what this fight is going to need is a novelty.
Yeah, right.
And that's the direction I believe that Triller is going with that.
I wonder what made Frank Mir sway in that decision to do that over, Bare Knuckle,
money. He's probably got a bigger paycheck coming to him there. He has not written off Bare Knuckle. He's still signed with Bare Knuckle. He still intends to pursue Bare Knuckle. I know. Exactly. He's got a 3-fight contract, but it's an open contract, which means that, he is allowed to, dip his toes into other combat waters, which he is doing with Triller. And I say more power to him, man, because in the end, he's got a family. He's got a family, man. He's got a family, beautiful family, and he's got to take care of that family as much as possible. So every little bit actually helps in order to do that. So sometimes you got to put I'm not saying that he has to put his pride on hold, because because like I said, I don't think that what he's doing is a joke. I think that he's trying something different. More power to him for doing it. But he's got to do what he's got to do, especially the fact that, now he's over 40, and he's got to take advantage of as many fights now as he possibly can so that he can close the door on his career and take the next step.
Well, no. Okay. I don't think it's a joke, but
no, not at all. Not at all.
But also, too, it's also not like, I mean, how competitive is it really going to be? How,
it's not about that. It's not about that. It's not about competitive. It's about numbers.
Or how dangerous, how big of a risk. And I get that. But, how big of a risk is it? Like, as far as risk reward, I get it. I get it. Risk reward factor.
The risk is minimal. The reward is maximal.
It's minimal. Right.
When you have a situation, minimal risk, maximum reward, most people are stupid if they don't do it.
Which, by the way, too,
it's full-time pay for part-time work. Who wouldn't do that? It's like how, remember in the WWE when Brock Lesnar came back as a part-timer and he was getting paid more than anybody on the roster and everybody was getting pissed at him. Well, those same people who were getting pissed at him,
fucking eyeballs too. So
well, of course he did, but at the same point, they're all fucking hypocrites about that because who among us wouldn't want full-time pay for part-time work? Come on.
Of course.
Every single one of us. So for those of you who were knocking him, I'm like, you fucking jelly motherfuckers, you would have done exactly the same thing if you had been presented the same situation. Fuck yes, you would. Full-time pay for part-time work.
100%.
And dude, it worked better to his advantage because when Brock came out as a part-timer, it was something special.
Which is the way it should have been because the attraction, whatever. But to go back to on a quick point too, I like the fact that he's allowed to,
what's up, Slick
pursue other sports. Slick Rick Caruso, what's up, man? He's allowed to pursue other sports. So like if there's a stall at BKFC or, maybe just nothing's happening, there's no fight lined up, whatever, he can maybe cross over something else and fight, get some money. I'm glad that they have that ability to.
Why not? He should have that option available to him.
Because otherwise,
if you were a younger fighter with BKFC, if you were a younger fighter that didn't have that fight celebrity caliber behind you, I could see Dave not wanting to quote unquote kind of lend you out while you're under contract. But with that fight celebrity, he's going to get other what does it
hurt? As long as it's not within the same sport, as long as it's not like a
no. Like if he did bare knuckle with somebody else and such, absolutely.
Now that I would understand, right? But like
it's a conflict of interest.
If it's boxing or MMA, I don't know. I don't see because people make good points that you're a contractor, right? When you sign you're not like an employee. So, like, if someone's going to hold you and not let you work the other sports, doesn't that kind of make you, like, more or less an employee because they're telling you can't do something? I don't know.
Well, you got to watch out.
That's a whole nother can of worms. That's a whole other conversation.
Contracts can easily limit the amount of money that you can make as a professional.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of contracts myself. I'm more of an independent contractor on my side because contracts, once again, can limit your earning potential unless it's a contract that makes up for whatever work that you're missing with anybody else. Now, if you've got a situation like that to where it's making up for whatever other shows that you may have been working, representing, whatever, it makes more sense when you have an exclusive contract where the numbers are right. If the numbers aren't right with an exclusive contract, then you're only hurting yourself. You're only hurting yourself. But when it comes to fighters, it's a completely different proposition between a ringmaster and fighters. It's a completely different proposition.
Well, it's an investment, like a promotion. They look at a fighter as their product, right? So
it's investing,
advertising and promoting the product, and if they
it's a stock.
Right, if I spend $10,000 and I'm just throwing out numbers here, if I spend $10,000 in advertising on Rick Caruso just because he's in the chat right here, if I throw $10,000 on him, hey buddy, I guess I can expect a certain type of I've got $10,000 invested.
Is your return going to be? Is your overall return going to be?
Right.
Are you going to end up, kind of, cashing out like Pawn Stars? You have to kind of look at it from the Pawn Stars situation. You may come in with an item that's worth about $2,000, but I guarantee you they're not going to spend that much. What they're going to do is they're going to try to get it for $500 and turn around and sell it for $3,000.
I mean,
I get it. I mean, you have to make a profit.
Capitalism, baby. Capitalism.
No. I mean, that's the world that we live in. And trust me, even though that there are other countries that may not say that they rely more on socialism than capitalism, trust me, money is being made. The blueprint is there. Trust me.
Right.
Absolutely. All right, so here we are, just a little over 1 week to go. BKFC 16, back in Biloxi. I just got back from Biloxi. Jesus. I did Roy Jones Jr. boxing and, of course, Icon 5, where we saw the triumphant return to MMA for Jason the Kid Knight, who ended up getting a rear naked choke victory in round number 2 of our main event. Two of the purest people in the game. Oh, I may be pure, but I'm going to tell you something. That son of a bitch over there, he is not pure. He is not pure.
Justin Sims, my man. What's up, brother?
He is not pure, Justin. If anything, I'm going to tell you, he is proof that there is a hell. He is undeniable, undisputed proof that Beelzebub is here, and he is looking at us with his big blue beard in the frozen lake of Coxus.
When you fuckers coming to Titan? Man, if I was in Florida, I'd be there every show.
Well, what's his name is doing Titan. I did a couple of shows for Titan, Justin. I had a good time with them, but that was way, way back. Now they've got Rodolfo Roman, who's announcing for Titan, and he's a good fit. He's a good fit for them. He's a South Floridian. He fits the mold for Titan. I've worked with Titan before, and he's a good fit for Titan. He's a real good fit.
Yeah, I'd love to, man. I'd love to spend more time in Florida.
I had my fun with Titan. I don't need to go back, Justin. I had my fun.
I just mean Florida in general too. There's a lot of stuff that happens.
Well, yeah,
a lot of
apparently there's going to be even more. Well, even more. I mean, even more now. The fact that now that BKFC now has a office down in South Florida. In fact, they're even talking about the Hard Rock Stadium as an upcoming venue.
I'm not saying it's not possible. That's going to be tough, man.
Well, of course it's going to be tough. When has Dave Feldman not done something that is tough when it comes to anything bare knuckle?
I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm just saying I'm I saw that post because I remember him posting about it a while back, like last year, I think before COVID, where they did like a tour of it. And I remember something about that. But I'm trying to think of, who would, if I'm booking a show, in a fucking stadium.
Well, who
would you put on that card?
Well, I mean, obviously with something like that, it's going to have to be a mega card. I mean, we're talking about, even bigger than Knucklemania. We're talking even bigger than Knucklemania for something like that. Or maybe that could be the potential Knucklemania for next year. But I don't think so. I think that plan will unfold in 2021. If I'm a betting man, I believe it would be 2021. Oh, and also shout out to our man John Nutt with Full Metal Dojo with the debut of Bare Knuckle Kingdom in Phuket, Thailand. Man, I'm going to tell you something, man. That was one wild show, man. That was definitely, I'm going to tell you, parental guidance suggested. I'm going to tell you, that is for mature audiences only, man. John, I'm going to tell you something, brother. You got a filthy fucking mouth, but it works for Full Metal Dojo, so that's not a knock on you, sir. Not at all. It works for the product for Full Metal Dojo. I get that. I absolutely get that. Full Metal Dojo, Fight Circus. I mean, you guys do... If you've seen some of the fight videos, it's some of the wildest and craziest shit that you've ever seen. I mean, it's like, MMA and bare knuckle and Lathway, meets Jackass. And
they do something like 3-on-1, 2-on-1, like all kinds of crazy shit.
Yeah. And it is crazy. But the thing about it is it's entertaining. Okay.
I'll say this.
It's entertaining.
Before we get off of that, I will say this. So I watched the show. The fights were fucking solid. There was a couple standout people. The fights were solid. I don't know, nothing against the guy, and I get it's kind of like his gimmick kind of thing to be wild and shit, and maybe for the fight the circus thing and all that, like that, it works for that. I don't know, man. Like, I don't know that the audience over here, like, it's a little too over the top for my taste.
Oh no, I'm gonna tell you something.
I'm not saying it's bad.
Dude, he was bent over and raped in the chat forums, but I don't think he cares.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you, and that's fine. Like, I'm not saying it was bad. I'm not. And John, if you're listening to this, because I know we're friends on Facebook, whatever. Like it's not necessarily a critique in terms of like I think it was bad or something. It's just I don't know if it's my cup of tea. I don't know if it's the cup of tea of a lot of people like on this side of the this side of the pond. I just
something, to each his own, and it's just gonna, I guess, once they see the numbers, once they see the feedback and such, what the future of Bare Knuckle Kingdom is going to be moving forward. A little bit.
I mean, I think it's got a lot of potential, obviously.
Well, honestly,
the potential's there. Just turn
the profanity. I'm going to tell you something. The profanity could be backed off just a bit, because the problem with it is that the context behind it. It makes it more about you rather than the show.
Correct.
When you do something like that. And honestly, even though that I may have a title as ringmaster as of right now, I mean, that was something that I decided to rework, but I didn't do that so that more attention would be put on me. It was an homage to the position, number one. But honestly, you gotta, especially when you know that you have an American audience. When you have an American audience, it's tough because not everybody is so used to something, to that kind of, vulgar language that much and such. Now, I curse like a fucking sailor, but I also know that there's a time and a place for that as well. And if you do it too much, it becomes more about you and less about the show. And I'm never a fan about that. I'm never a fan about making me bigger than the show, because I know for a fact that no matter what outfit I put on, no matter what I say, no matter what happens, I'm never bigger than the show. I will always know that. And even though he may not have even been trying to do that. That may have not been his goal. Right. But unfortunately, that's how it's going to be perceived.
That's how it came off. Yeah.
Yes. That's how it's going. That's how it was.
I think that's a spot on. That definitely is a spot on analogy.
You mean analysis?
Analysis, whatever. Anal.
That's not an analogy.
Anal gland. I don't know. So,
see, there you go again, man. Always thinking to the south, never the north.
Hey, I think you're spot on with that. I'm trying to give you a compliment. If you give me a damn second, I'm trying to give you a compliment.
I would if you would say analysis after instead of anal leakage or whatever the hell you're saying.
Anal leakage. No, Rick. I mean, I like I said, I enjoyed the fights. I enjoyed. I think I love the whole thing with like the background, the backdrop of the beach and the that was fucking gorgeous, right? Like that was fine.
Gorgeous.
I don't have a problem with that part. And like I said, I'm not even to say I'm knocking John. I think might be
no. It's fine
knocking him per se. I just think
a little fine tuning for the American audience. That's all it is.
Like if his personality had a volume button, he was on fucking 12 all night. If he just turned it.
And you can't be on 12 all fucking night.
Just turn it back a little bit, and you gotta roller coaster that shit every once in a while.
Well, no. Remember what I said. A good announcer, when they do a show, they look like an EKG readout. They've got their ups, they've got their downs. They know how to control it. It's never consistent, because if you're looking at an EKG and it's consistent, what are you at? Right. Flatline.
Right. Flatline. I get
right.
that. Yeah. And like I said, if he's watching, it's not a knock. It's just
no. It's it's a suggestion. It is just a suggestion and nothing more. But then the only reason that we make these suggestions is because we'd like to see more content with Bare Knuckle Kingdom. Because like I told you before, I get it. Okay, stop the nipple tweaking. Stop the clit tweaking. Okay.
The animal. What's up, brother?
Look at this. Travis, can you believe what he's doing? He's clit tweaking on live Loudmouth Fisticuffs.
You said that, not me.
I'm going to tell you something. That was no volume knob. Because no volume knob is this small.
That's a volume knob, brother.
No, that's a volume knob. This is extracurricular activity in the bedroom.
You don't know that.
I certainly know that.
You certainly don't.
I mean, not on your end, but I know on my end. Not on your end, but I certainly know it on my end. That's extracurricular activity.
I don't want you anywhere near my end, as a matter of fact. So
you can. That's an absolute safe bet, sir. I wouldn't touch you with a 60-foot pole. Seriously, man, I wouldn't piss on you if you were on fire.
Or at least a 6-foot pole, so we can be COVID safe.
No, it's COVID safe. Speaking of which, it's so nice that Texas now has the mask mandate lifted, as well as Mississippi.
Yeah,
the mask mandate has been lifted. Obviously, certain businesses, certain places can still enforce you to wear the mask for the time being, and I totally get that.
Can they though? Can
yes, they can, but because it's private property. It's private property. So what the thing about it is that it's no longer a state mandate and it's no longer a federal mandate. So therefore, if people want to walk around outside without a mask, that's fine. But private property still can choose to have their customers come in and wear masks for the safety of everyone. Because like I said, it's still fucking private property. You really can't enforce that on private property unless, it ends up becoming something like an absolute 100% order from the governor of that state. And I didn't see any orders that were ordering private businesses to relinquish the mask mandate. Do you? I don't remember that being a part of it.
No, I don't either. I didn't realize. I mean, I guess that makes sense. I mean, because you have the right to refuse somebody service for
anything. I mean,
for anything, I guess.
If somebody doesn't come in with shoes, you can refuse their service. So, I mean, if people still want to, enforce wearing masks within their businesses in order to feel safe, they have 100% the right to do that. If you want to be a Ken or a Karen and, go viral, make yourself a nice little video, let me talk to the fucking manager. My rights are being alienated against. Fuck you, go home. All I have to say to you, fuck you, go home and shop on Amazon. You'll probably get a better deal. I just have to say this.
So my job, and I won't go into too much detail about my job, but
thank God.
I interact with people. I have to interact with people. Okay. So, and there's everything's, has to be safe and 6 feet apart, blah, blah, blah. And, we have certain mandates and blah, blah, blah.
You have a mandate? So, wow.
I do. Are you interested?
Apparently not, because you're talking about somebody else. Oh man, somebody can make you take
I can juggle more than.
Yeah, I bet you can, man. You ball juggler, man. Turn that hat around and make that little switch.
I'm not bald. Look at that. I'm growing the hair out.
Well, of course you are, because now the guys have something to grab onto.
That's like, I remember that joke in like high school.
Well, I'm wearing a Kangol. I'm wearing a leather Kangol, so that's a pretty safe assumption.
Oh yeah, that's where it's going. Anyway, so we're outside. The guy came out at first without a mask, but we're outside. I don't give a shit. Like I don't. We're fucking outside, right? So, and we're far enough apart.
Particles are there anyway. You're outside. Particles are there.
So the guy comes outside without a mask, and then he's like, "Oh shit, holy shit, man! Hold on a second, let me go get my damn mask." And that's how he sounded. He ran to his truck like in a panic, got his mask, came back, put his mask on. Okay, he's like, "Shit, man, I can't. I got all kinds of health problems. I can't afford to get that shit." And I said, "Okay, yeah, I get it. Blah blah blah." I shit you not, maybe like 30 seconds later.
Oh, there's Zion. There's Zion. What's up, Zion?
Zion, what's up, brother? Like 30 seconds later, he pulls down his mask. He's like, "Hey, man, you mind if I smoke a cigarette?" Lights up and starts smoking a cigarette with the mask off. And I'm like,
weren't you the one that just did a full-on sprint to your truck to get your mask because you don't want to get that shit?
Yeah, the dude, panic ran to his fucking truck to get a mask because he was so scared. But then he goes, "Hey, man, you mind if I smoke me a cigarette?" Yeah,
no, you fucking hypocrite. Absolutely. Go ahead.
Boy, this shit's crazy. I tell you what, everybody gets sick and dying and shit. It's crazy shit, huh, boy? I'm like,
who do you employ? Larry the Cable Guy? Shit.
Get her done.
Yeah, that's what it's sounding like to me. God damn.
No, he was fucking country. He had like used tires on his porch. He had like a stack of like used truck tires, not tire trucks.
What are tire trucks?
I don't know.
Tire trucks. Gotta look that one up. I bet you if I look up tire trucks online, I'll actually find something.
You might.
I just might. But fucking hypocrites, man. Like I said, most people, I hate it when people point out hypocrites because usually almost everybody is a hypocrite in themselves. I have been a hypocrite so many fucking times that I'm not even good. Dude, it's just the nature of the beast.
Everybody has at one point or another, intentional or not. Everybody has been. It is what it is. But, man, my biggest fucking thing, and I know I've probably said this at least a dozen times in the past fucking year since we started this, but people that I was driving around outside. It's nice outside, had the windows down, playing the music, and people are starting to, like walk around outside again, because it's nice outside. I saw people like by themselves walk around outside with the fucking mask on. And I just look at them. I'm like, I don't understand. Like, I see people driving around in cars by themselves with a fucking mask on. By themselves. Let me see. By themselves with the mask on.
By themselves with the mask on, man. I almost feel like Will Smith is going to drop in with a little summertime after that. Here it is, the groove slightly transformed, just a bit of a break from the norm, just a little something to break from monotony of all that hardcore dance that has gotten to be a little bit out of control. You know what I'm fucking talking about.
In West Philadelphia, born and raised. That's the only one I know. I don't know.
Well, on the playground is where he spent most of his days.
That is a fact. That is a fact.
That is a fact. All right. Now it's time to get away from the ridiculous, hypocritical individuals who are trying to still say COVID's safe while doing that. There he is. And start talking about this awesome BKFC 16 card coming your way March 19th live on the app. What's going on, Brad? How you doing, sir?
Brad Kelly, what's up, brother?
Of course, our main event, Proving Grounds Central, Leonard Garcia, Joe Elmore. Interesting dynamics with our main event, because I know that Leonard has got a lot to prove, and Joe wants to keep the path of destruction. He wants to make sure that is a clear path for him. So it's going to be interesting.
Can I ask you something? And this is by no means, this isn't a knock on anybody, like any fighter watching. It's just something that popped in my head, and I hope it doesn't come off offensive, but
it probably will, but go ahead.
It probably will, but I don't mean it that way. I guess let me put disclosure out there. Because the first thing I definitely would never do is, disrespect somebody in a fight game. I just wouldn't do that.
Not to their face, at least.
At least not to their face, right? But like if somebody's like 1-0, 2-0, but then like whatever, there's like the commercials like, undefeated so-and-so fighter. I'm like, 1-0? Do you really need to say, like, is that really marketable? If you're 1-0, can you really say, well, I'm an undefeated? I mean, technically you're not wrong, but what do you feel that you have? I don't know.
You have to have a string of undefeated victories in order for that to actually have
5. I don't know. 3, 4, 5. I don't know. I don't know what the number is. I don't know. We haven't been around.
We only have so many people who have that to begin with in bare knuckle. There's only
but
so many people who have
1-0. You can't be 1-0 or 2-0 and be like, oh, undefeated fighter, so and so. I'm like,
it made more sense like for Johnny when Johnny Bedford was going into his fight with Dat,
because he was 5-0,
sold undefeated 5-0. Yes, that has a little bit more behind it.
5 fights, okay, yeah, thank you, yeah, that's what that was the number. I didn't know if maybe that was too high, but yeah, 5 fights is kind of what. Yeah, and I get that too.
No,
Rick.
But you got to sell. No, you do. You have to sell what's available as of right now, and in a brand new sport, you got to sell what's available. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Now, the thing about it is, as we get more ground underneath our feet, I think we'll be able to sell that undefeated streak a little bit easier once we get some years under us, once we get some more ground under us. That's the problem. We don't have anybody as of right now that has that 5-0 undefeated. In fact, right now there's nobody in BKFC that has a record of 5-0. Nobody.
You know, I watched.
There was.
I watched too, and shout out to Joe Miggs. He did an interview with Paulie Malignaggi, and Paulie was talking about like fighting Palomino for the title, and I'm like,
hey, it'll make money. Every fight doesn't have to make sense.
Come on, man.
Every fight does not have to make sense.
No. I get it's like money, but come on, you can't do that. Like the dude like lost like to Artem. Artem, 1-1. Like it wasn't that standing. It wasn't like a barn burner of a fight. Let's just be honest.
You're automatically doing something, and I get what you're saying, but here's the thing: you're comparing. This blueprint that you're talking about makes sense.
Makes too much sense.
No, it makes sense for a promotion that has got years and years and years behind it. We don't have that as of yet.
No, I don't agree.
You're
I
allowed.
don't agree with that.
You're allowed to not agree with that. I don't give a fuck if you agree or disagree. That's my opinion. I believe that once we get a little bit more grounding under us and we get some fighters that start really racking up a good record, it's going to make a little bit more sense. But as of right now, you have to do what sells. Okay. And Paulie and Artem sold. All right. They sold.
I am not discussing Paulie Artem. I'm more discussing Paulie saying he wants to challenge.
I get that he wants
Luis for the title.
But there's a lot of people that want to. Yes, but there's a lot of people that want to challenge him for the title that don't have the right record as of yet. There are only a few people who can actually really lay claim to a legitimate championship challenge for Luis Palomino. Unfortunately, the challenge pool is going to be a little thin right now, but it's not going to be that way forever.
I get that it's thin. I understand that, and I understand some like you said, because it's that things are still new and the roster pools are still they're still low, and everything is still building. I get that.
And a big thing about it is that we also have to make sure that whoever's sticking with us are the kind that want to build the brand and not use BKFC as a stepping stone to get back anywhere. Like to get back into Bellator, to get back into UFC. We need the ones who are willing to build the brand with their name, with their blood, their sweat, and their tears, and not jump ship just because they're getting offered a little money. You have to look at it for the overall. I mean, Bellator and UFC are awesome opportunities, but what are the odds of getting like a legitimate world title opportunity when it comes to fucking fighters? I'm not saying it's slim to none, but it is minimal. It is minimal as opposed to being a world champion and, making a name for yourself over here and helping build the brand. You help build the brand, guess what happens? You get paid more. But you got to put in the fucking work, and you got to put in the personality, the fights. You got to stick with the brand. You got to love the brand. You got to say that this is the future of combat sports, because it fucking is. You jump ship too quickly, and all you're doing is, it's embarrassing is what it is. It's embarrassing to see people jump ship too fucking quick instead of sticking it out and trying to help build the brand. You build the brand, you get paid more. Plain and fucking simple.
I get you. I hear you, man.
I mean, you got to. That is most important, and I think a lot of these fighters lose focus of that. They say, "Oh, this is a great way for me to get back." I'm like, if your primary goal is to get back somewhere by using BKFC, don't bother. Okay, don't bother. Go find someone else. Go find someone else.
Zion says, you got to earn your stripes and Santos day one. If Uli versus Alves happens for the title, it's going to be a lot of racket coming.
No, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
It's and I'm not ignorant to that side, the business side of it. I understand it. I understand.
Certain fighters sell, certain fighters don't.
I get that, man, but there's got to be a happy medium somewhere, because otherwise you water down the fucking titles if you just give anybody that is marketable a title shot.
Oh, I see. So the era of the UFC light heavyweight championship musical chairs issue didn't water it fucking down. I mean, how many people in that era had one title shot, one title defense, and lost it?
I hear you.
Dude,
I hear you.
Dude, that happens everywhere. The one place that it doesn't happen
I'm not saying it's
boxing.
specific. I'm not saying it's specific to BKFC.
No, I get the idea of what you're trying to say. You definitely want to have a title mean something. You want to have a title mean something instead of just putting it on who's the most marketable. But that's also the change of the game. The game has changed to favor the more marketable rather than the more talented. Because obviously, if that were the case, then why are people making a big deal about Jake fucking Paul? Jesus Christ. There are a million better fighters that I would love to jump on their bandwagon because they're so much more fucking talented. But like I said, right now, the opportunities favor the popular as opposed to the talented.
One prime example, and I know we've talked about this a bunch of times too, speaking of BKFC 16, speaking of, getting a title shot. If Reggie beats Chop Chop, is there any fucking world where he has to get a title shot?
None. That is a yellow brick road.
That would make him 5-1. That would put him in the 6-fight category, which is only
there's nobody in that situation that
there's only 4 people in the 6-fight.
He's already earned the number one contendership opportunity. Unfortunately, it didn't come his way, and this is what happened. But he gets the W over DeMarcus Corley. That is a yellow brick road straight to that win. Absolutely.
And what if that doesn't take the fight?
Well, I think he'd be kind of. I'm not saying that he'd be stupid not to take it, but I think
and I'm not assuming this. He has said vocally that it
would be a bad decision. It would be a bad decision for him not to, because the thing about it is that he's going to know that this fight with DeMarcus Corley is going to get press. It's going to get press, and the one thing that Dad is going to understand. Press matters, and right now there's nobody else as of right now, whether or not Johnny Bedford beat him in the finals for the inaugural title is irrelevant as of right now. That's history. So therefore,
2 fucking years ago now, man.
It's 2 fucking years ago. So the way that I see it, it makes sense to have a legitimate challenger to that fight. And right now, there is nobody more legitimate as of right now than Reggie Barnett. So he thinks that he's actually taking a step back fighting Reggie. I absolutely 100% disagree. What's going on, Mr. Red Rims?
What's up, brother?
But I absolutely disagree that he is taking a step back, because he's not. Yeah, I could probably see that. And I don't think that Dat needs to avoid Reggie. I think that it would drive up his stock that much more if he were to challenge Reggie once the DeMarcus Corley situation is over. But then again, DeMarcus could get the W. Honestly, you never know. You never know. DeMarcus could be a natural fit, even though that he's an older fighter. He could be a glove fit, which is one of the things that I love about bare knuckle fighting, especially BKFC. You never know who the next star is going to be, the next breakout star. You never know, because everybody that's coming in has usually never fought bare knuckle professionally before. So we have no idea who a potential star could be.
Guys, real quick too, please. I see there's quite a few of you on here. Please like and share the stream.
Smash it.
If you like it. If you don't, you don't have to. But
hey, if you see a nice girl, if you like her, you smash it, right? Think of that like button as that, you see a fine like button, you smash it.
Smash it up.
Yes, we did.
You guys watch Bare Knuckle Kingdom. Yep, we were just talking about that.
We were just talking about it, Ryan. You missed it, but we had our critiques in regards to that, and the way that we look at it, anything that we said was not negative; it was constructive criticism, because more content on the BKTV app can only benefit us. So we absolutely want more content from our international collaborations. That absolutely makes sense for the brand. However, like I said, there was the use of profanity was just a bit much. It was a bit much, and it makes it look like that someone is above the show, and everybody thought that. Most people thought that John Nutt was above the show, and that's just, I don't agree with that. That goes against the ring announcer, ring master, whatever the fuck you want to call us. It's against our code. It is against our code. Now, if you end up becoming bigger, the fighter, like, Bruce Buffer and Michael Buffer, now they may get more press than certain fighters, and they may get definitely paid more than other fighters. However, they don't do that intentionally. The brand builds that around them. And if the brand chooses to build that around them, then that's their prerogative. Glove fit. I see what you did there. See, yeah.
Bruce Buffer appreciates the compliment.
It wasn't a compliment. It was the truth.
And just real quick recap and what Jeff was just saying. Yeah, we just great, solid show. Just John could just.
It's just some tweaking. Just some tweaking.
Tweak it back. He could just turn it up a little bit. His volume was at like 12 the whole show. Turn it back. That's all.
Or pick your spots. Pick your spots.
Yeah. Pick your spots to be all fucking crazy. Like the one. What was the one thing he said? The guy that had a cut. He said looks like a vagina or something.
He wanted to fuck his mouth or something like that.
That was that's weird.
I don't give a fuck what kind of fighter you're talking to, man. That's.
I don't even know that. If it was funny, I could maybe even let it slide. But it really wasn't even funny. It was just kind of like
no. It's just like okay, I have no idea where that fuck that is, but okay. No, and yeah, you have to be able to pick it, because if you just throw anything out there for the sake of shock value, and I know that that's the way that he was going. He was definitely going for the shock value, but even the people who understand how to control shock value know when to pull it out and when to put it back.
That's what she said.
That's right. Pull that hog out, make her happy, then pull it back, and guess what? You're over and done with. See ya. Hog. Wouldn't want to be you. I hear you. All right, moving on. Moving on to the card. Well, all right. We've talked about Garcia and Elmore. We've talked about Reggie and DeMarcus. Now let's talk about a very interesting heavyweight matchup, and I'm talking about Bobo O'Bannon in his young BKFC career gets the opportunity to get in there with the returning former BKFC World Heavyweight Champion AJ Adams. Now, and you remember we had Mr. Bobo the Beast O'Bannon on with us, and he was very articulate. I'm going to tell you, he was speaking from the heart. He was speaking for the fight fans. If there's anybody who's definitely a fan of the fight fans, it's definitely Bobo O'Bannon.
Yeah, I see this fight being it's probably going to be an awkward fight for the both of them because Bobo's a headhunter. He likes to go for the exciting knockout. He's all about making a show. Being entertaining for the fans.
AJ might have retooled. We haven't seen AJ,
forever. And AJ before AJ was very very technical, very very counter striker-esque, and hell maybe he's completely different. Completely.
We may see a different.
I don't know.
We may see a 180. I mean, how many times have we seen a fighter pull a 180 with BKFC? It's not that uncommon.
I probably see this going. I don't know, man. I think it's probably going to go to a decision.
I don't know.
That's what I think. I don't know. I don't want to I don't want to go too much into picking people.
Bare knuckles too damn hard to call, as far as I'm concerned. 18
it
years
is tough.
I've been on 18 years that I've been on the mic, and I could probably make better judgment calls as far as who's going to win and who's going to lose with boxing and MMA, but. Fucking bare knuckle's tough. Bare knuckle is just tough because somebody might live up to the hype. Somebody may not. Somebody may become a star. Somebody may not.
It's tough, man.
It is. All right, cool. I just got response from Frank. Yeah, he definitely wants to get together and have dinner. Frank, that's a done date, man. We're going to go ahead and make sure we get you a proper San Antonio. I'm thinking about taking him to a place. It's called Ray's Drive-In, and it is opposed. I don't know if this is true, but it's definitely been advertised as such. They say that this restaurant is the innovator and the inventor of the original puffy taco.
The fuck is a puffy taco?
Well, you would know about that. I mean, you're over on the East Coast. East Coast food is just so fucking bland. Of course you're not going to understand what that is. A puffy taco is the same as a taco, but instead of a thin shell, it has a puffed out shell. So it is a puffy taco. So the shell is puffy. It's a different way of cooking. It's a different way of cooking it so that the layers of the tortilla separate so that it comes out a little bit more puffy. It's an interesting way of doing it, and they're really good. They're really, really good. It definitely adds to the flavor of a solid taco. And I'm a South Texan, so if there's anybody that knows the value of tacos, it's yours truly. I mean, I have earned this semi-second chin. Semi. It's not quite a complete second chin, but it's a semi.
East Coast food got it. It depends. It depends where you go.
I'm sure.
Philly is a good fucking spot for food. Philly's a good spot.
You know something? I changed my mind. Philly is all about fucking.
Philly's a great spot for food.
Oh, I've had some of the best meals of my life in Philly. Absolutely. What's weird about Philly is that Philly's known for, of course, the Philly cheesesteaks. I mean, that's a staple of Philadelphia. But a staple that's been really kind of breaking ground in Philadelphia is are the pulled pork sandwiches.
Yes.
They're almost as widely known as the Philly cheesesteaks, the way that they do it.
Well, the one in the farmers market, the Reading Terminal Market.
I've been there. Yeah, I've been there.
The guy, it was voted like world's best fucking sandwich or like something crazy like that. It was I know it's you know what I'm talking about. I can't.
Yeah, it's this pulled pork that's dipped. It's like dipped into the sauce and it's completely slathered with green onions.
Yeah.
Oh no. That was on an episode of Man vs. Food on the Travel Channel.
Maybe that's what it was, but yeah, like it was. We've been there a couple times. Like Reading Terminal, probably. I mean,
some of the best food vendors. Some of the best food vendors in the country.
I love steak sandwich. Like I love Jim's. Jim's is probably my favorite steak sandwich out there. But Reading Terminal, man, like there's a big Amish shop in there that make like fresh baked goods.
Yep.
They're fucking donuts.
Oh my God. No, I remember I had those when I was with Brandy and we were over at the Reading Terminal Farmers Market. I had the freshest, the best strawberry smoothie I've ever had in my life. And it was this small little smoothie stand in there. And I swear, I kid you not, the strawberries were about the size of like an adult's fist. They were like this friggin' big. I mean, they almost look like nuclear friggin' strawberries. And I said to myself, man, I can't pass up a fucking smoothie where I'm seeing a strawberry that's literally almost the size of an adult fist. So I tried that and I'm just like, Jesus Christ, man, you can drink a smoothie and then you can live vicariously through a smoothie and actually see shit going on.
I'm sorry, brother.
Brad, we are Loudmouth Fisticuffs. We talk about it all here, man. I'm going to tell you, we appreciate the fact that you're trying to cut weight, but we're going to talk food. We're going to talk shit. And so it's just like we tell everybody else, shut your mouth, open your ears, and have a good fucking time, sir.
I'm drinking water though, Brad. That has to balance it out somewhere.
Yes. It says the guy who's got like 6 Cadbury eggs next to him.
I wish I had 6 fucking Cadbury eggs next to me. I love those things.
So does my wife.
Or I tell you what, I'll eat the original, but the orange cream ones. They came out with like an orange cream.
Ugh. I never liked those. Now they got a Reese's one. I mean, there are certain things that they don't need to reinvent the wheel. The original Cadbury egg with the old school commercial with the clucking rabbit.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the clucking rabbit. Gotta love the clucking rabbit, man.
All right. See, we're about an hour in. I do want to touch on this, Jeff. We were talking about it. I think this is going to be the best way to do this. Hold on.
I know, and I know that I want to tread.
We've been kind of dreading this.
I want to tread lightly.
Hold on.
I want to tread lightly. I'm going to let you take the lead on that to kind of talk a little bit more about it and such, because I'm sure that a lot of the bare knuckle fans, it's been spreading throughout social media. It is regrettable news, unfortunately, but I mean, we can definitely talk a little bit about it.
Okay, so unfortunately, I think it's something we have to hit on, and I think by now a lot of people know about what happened with Sheena. Sheena Starr, BKFC fighter, cut woman,
fighter.
Fight. Like a lot of us, know her as a very, sweet personality, very wild personality,
very live. She's very live. She's
very live personality, but
very live.
I don't know. It's hard to talk about, especially because we've all like spent some kind of time with her, whether it was I first met her a few years ago, and when I went to Cancun and for BKFC 4, and like she helped us out because I'd never traveled internationally. That I was a virgin.
Oh, you popped your cherry on that one, huh?
And I was like, I have no idea. Like, what is this? And she was like, oh, I'll do this, because she's a veteran at that stuff. And, she's just super cool, super nice. She's always been just really fucking cool.
But
obviously,
what? In the end, we were talking about this before, Josh. Somebody can be super cool on this front, but we did not grow up with her. We didn't live in the same zip code as her. We did not know her outside of the bare knuckle world or outside of the MMA world. So, in those situations when people say, oh, I can't believe it, I'm like, if you knew her and you said that, I probably put stock into that. But you never know when it comes to people. You never know what anybody's capable of or what kind of situation that can be presented to you. And, some of these fighters don't react the way that, I guess, people in civilized society should. And then you have situations that happen like this. It's regrettable. It's ridiculously regrettable. However, that anytime that you evade something like that, it's never good. I mean, it's never good. I mean, it definitely implies hard guilt.
It's something, man. I just.
So, I mean,
it's very shocking, and
it's regrettable. It's regrettable, and it's very shameful. However, if everything adds up, I mean, if you look at the bond that was, I mean, there was a $250,000 bond posted on Sheena. That's pretty. That's a pretty big bond right there.
So as of right now, her two charges is reckless driving causing death and failure to stop at a scene of an accident causing death. So I want to know too. It's just questions in my brain after I want to know if did she realize the guy was
Yeah, we don't know whether it was a.
Did she realize the guy had passed? Like. After the accident, was it something, did it happen and then maybe she panicked and then she fucking left because she freaked out. Maybe she was drinking. I don't know.
Well, they did say that she was under the influence.
Did they say that?
Yeah, there were a couple. I do believe that there was.
I know they said that she came from a bar, but I don't know if
unfortunately, unfortunately, she was habitual when it came to DWI and DUI arrests. That was not her first time. Unfortunately, she did have a record on that, and having a record on top of this situation, it doesn't help her cause. Not at all.
Okay, so the gentleman that passed away, Troy Lambert. Okay, medics took Lambert to the hospital. He died there from his injuries. Okay, so he didn't die like on the scene. So I guess like, you know, maybe she didn't know. And then just like I said, maybe she just freaked out. I don't know that, and I'm not making like
fleeing the scene and moving and moving on top of that, because all of a sudden, you know, we find out that she moves down to Missouri.
Right.
You know, and that was very surprising because she had a homestead set up in Gaylord, Michigan, just right outside of Detroit. You know, she had a nice spread, you know, she was making a good living and such. And then all of a sudden that's uprooted. And then she's over here. And, she was acting differently this last time around when she fought against Jenny Savage at BKFC 14. You know, she was acting a little stranger and such, but, you know, I'm not going to, you know, as of right now, all we can do is speculate because, you know, we don't have hard facts. I mean, she'll have her day in court. There's already been an arraignment. She's already been arraigned. So, you know, obviously there's probably sufficient evidence enough to go to trial and such. So if she wants to, I mean, you know, it depends on her legal team on what they plan to do. But it unfortunately does not look good for her. It absolutely does not. You know, when you flee the scene like that, I mean, the fact that this happened in October and that she was fighting for bare knuckle in December.
Right.
I mean, that certainly made it, unfortunately, that certainly made it also a liability for BKFC, you know, her being there as well. So it's like I said, it's incredibly regretful, but if that's how it goes, then that's how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, what more can you? It's tough, man, because it's fucking tough because
it is, and I'd like to get off the topic if we can, please. I mean, you know, we touched on it. We said that we touched on it, but I'm not a judge, I'm not a jury, and I sure as fuck am no executioner. So the last thing that I'm going to do,
100%.
Yes, I mean, honestly, Ryan, it's been a bumper sticker for as God knows how long. God knows how long shit happens. Exactly. But of course, my favorite analogy of that is definitely that t-shirt from Bad Santa. Shit happens when you party naked.
Hey, man, you stepped in shit. It happens.
What shit?
What shit? Sometimes. The guy's like, ding.
Oh, exactly. I knew you were going to pull a Forrest Gump reference from that. I knew you were.
Man, you stepped in shit, man.
No. Whoa! You just ran through a big pile of dog shit. That's what it happens. What shit? Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Oh, man. Well, let's get on to some more positive news and such. Why don't we go ahead and we talk about a little UFC as of right now for a very interesting UFC 259, man, that took place at the Apex Center. Very, very interesting stuff. I'm still in a little shock and awe that Jan Blachowicz, he handed the style bender his first loss.
Yep.
In the octagon. He was not ready to go quietly into that gentle night and afford Israel Adesanya a dual championship.
And he stuck to a game plan. He used his wrestling.
He really did.
Was it a barn burner? Was it a fight of the night? No,
not even close. Even close.
He did what he had to do. He, you know, and it was.
He knew it was a challenge. I mean, if anybody knew it, he knew that this was a challenge, and he didn't want to be the one that ends up becoming the butt of the joke, so to speak. For nobody wants to usher in a dual champion. You know what I'm saying? Nobody wants to be that one person who was responsible for losing that belt, having somebody walk out with two. Nobody wants to be on the receiving end of that. That's embarrassing.
The only thing, you know, I didn't have any personal stake in this fight.
He avoided Israel. He avoided Israel. He avoided his striking. He avoided his striking game.
Right. But
That's a lot of butts, and I cannot lie.
I think it's going to take away. We're probably not going to see that Adesanya Jones fight now.
No, I disagree. I definitely think that we will still see it. I just think now it's kind of a setback. I think it'll be a setback, but eventually I believe that we will see Stylebender and Bones cross paths. I absolutely believe that. I just believe it's, like I said, this is just a setback, which in the fight world happens all the fucking time, because in the end, dollars and cents, that fight makes sense. That's still something that people want to see.
I mean, I still want to see the fight. I just, maybe hopefully you're right. Hopefully
no,
you're right.
I'm very confident that we will end up seeing that down the road. Unfortunately, like I said, now there's a speed bump in the way to actually bring that to fruition. So it's just going to take a little longer to make that fight happen, but I do believe it is. We're not going to have to wait as long as we did for Floyd Mayweather and Pacquiao.
Right.
They're not going to make us wait almost 10 years in order to make that fight happen. So no problem there. Co-main event, the absolutely ferocious, non-stop machine that is Amanda Nunes. That nothing against Megan Anderson, but I got to tell you, Amanda's just in a class of her own. She is. She cannot be denied. Now, people are going to say GOAT and such. You know that I hate that term because there's so many people who throw out that term, but it's getting harder to refute that, unfortunately, because she's working very feverishly towards GOAT status. And with all these defenses and everything that she's done already, she has not gotten complacent. Good for her. Good for her. That's what I'm excited about, is a fighter who understands that they're at the top. Getting the belt's one thing. Holding on to it is a completely different process. Completely different game.
Do you know what I think is down the road?
What's that?
Maybe 2, 3 years, 4 years, 5. I don't know. I don't know how many years, but with Clarissa Shields, she's now a 2-weight undisputed champion now. She just won.
And we are awaiting her MMA debut.
She's gonna debut for PFL in May.
Yep.
She's doing an MMA fight in May.
Everybody knew that she was gonna unify those titles and be the undisputed. I mean, come on. Her talent cannot be denied.
It's gonna be interesting because she's been training over at Jackson Wink.
Yep.
For MMA.
And that's the best place to go for somebody who's doing a transition, because Jackson Wink is really good at working with transitioning fighters from one combat sport to another. It's one of the best gyms in the world.
Well, plus, somebody like Holly, Holly Holmes, who came from, kickboxing.
Look how beautiful her transition was.
It's perfect transition, perfect person to mentor or take a mentorship from and be around, because she can kind of give her those pointers hey, you want to avoid this, you want to try this, blah, 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 blah.
And Holly had so much respect for MMA that she developed a game of her own with those head kicks.
Yeah.
She developed her own game to where if you got in range of those fucking head kicks, you were done. You were fucking done. And to see a boxer pick that up, that's impressive. That's impressive to actually see a boxer pick up the martial arts sense and bring that in and have that be just as devastating as her striking game.
Well, Holly was a kickboxer too, though, right?
No, she was, but there's a difference between being a kickboxer at that level and being in the UFC at a top performing level.
Sure. Yeah,
top performing level. But I knew she got that submission round number 1. I'm surprised it went as long as it did. Megan Anderson, she was 11-4. She was 11-4 at the time, so not a pushover and such. But this is a thoroughbred. This is the best as of right now. This is the woman to beat.
They nixed Megan. She's gone.
Really?
Yeah. Oh,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, she's that was the last fight on her contract. And they didn't re-sign her.
It's a round 1 finish. So, if it had been a little bit more competitive on her end, probably she could have maybe gotten some kind of an extension. But, I'm a little surprised that they didn't re-sign her, only because the fact that, she's Australian, and Australia is still one of those markets that they're, it's been growing.
but they're still trying to really tap into it. Just from the sheer international presence she has.
It's all about Melbourne. In Australia, as far as MMA goes, it's all about Melbourne. It's all of it.
I'm just surprised they let her go because of that.
It is what it is. And, just because they let her go now doesn't mean that she can't rebuild her brand and come back. We've seen it happen before. So it's definitely not, it's not a goodbye forever. It's just a see you later. And hopefully that she'll take this with a grain of salt, improve her game. And, we may see her back in the UFC somewhere down the road. Now moving on to the ridiculously controversial moment of the night.
Yep.
With Jan and Sterling. Jan and Sterling. Now, nobody can take away the fact that Petr Yan definitely 100% illegal grounded knee strike. 100%. I mean, come on. But I do understand that those knees are devastating. I do. But the entire MMA world is convinced that Sterling really oversold that knee.
Right.
If it were just one or two people that were saying that and everybody else says, oh, you know how devastating those knees are. It takes a while to get your equilibrium back, get your balance and such, which it absolutely does. But the majority of the world is saying that he was selling that just a little bit too much. Just a little bit too much. Maybe he was doing it to save face because it's an embarrassing way to it's not the way anybody really wants to win the title. It's still a win, okay? It's still a win, and he's still and now he is the bantamweight champion, but he's the bantamweight champion via disqualification. It's not the best way to start a reign. It really isn't. No, and it sucks because Petr Yan's a great fighter, but I figure a veteran like that would have a little bit more presence and, a little bit more sense of mind. I understand, that happens, but look at that. Look at that right there. There's no denying right there that is 100% illegal. And anybody who argues it obviously doesn't know their ass from their elbow when it comes to mixed martial arts. That's grounded. You can see his fucking, he had a hand down and he had a hand down and he had his knees down. Now, how much more grounded can it be? It's unfortunate, and it's not the greatest way, once again, to begin a reign. But it'll be interesting to see if Sterling continues his reign. And, that was WWE selling shit.
Yeah, and...
But I hear you. That's a knee. That's a grounded knee, and that's a lot of force. That's a lot of power coming your way, man. That's a lot of power coming your way. We've seen people with. You remember with what's his name with Cyborg. You remember the skull crushing knee?
Yes.
So
fucking his head got
caved in. Caved in. He had a drink holder. He had a cup holder on his fucking forehead. It was that bad.
I can just imagine he goes in the pool and is floating on his back. Somebody could just come by and sit there, drink. Hey man, stay still for a second.
Honestly, I'm surprised that he didn't do something like that just, to laugh in spite of himself.
Yeah.
To laugh in spite of himself. I would have. If I had a fucking dent in my forehead the size of a cup holder,
I'd probably do something. Yeah.
Fuck, man, I probably would have gotten myself some kind of a beer sponsor. When I want to set my beer down, I drink Coors Light.
That is funny.
Even though I don't drink Coors Light.
I'm not sure what side of the fence I'm on. I know, obviously, I don't think some people are even as far as to say is oh yeah, the knee, didn't barely make contact. I don't fucking know. There's some weird comments out there in social media land. Obviously, he got fucking rocked. There's nobody debating that. I'm not debating that it didn't fuck him up for temporarily. I'm not debating that. There was obviously a miscommunication with Peter Yan's team. We all know that. Blah blah blah. There was something going on where his team was yeah, hit him, kick him, knee him, whatever. Peter Yan did. That's what happened. I don't know. I do think when I saw it, my gut check reaction when I saw Aljamain selling from somebody that, did this shit, not as in fighting, but professional wrestling, and it is an expert. I'll say that. I have an expertise, maybe not number one, but
you can say that you're an expertise.
All right.
You did.
You got expertise in selling. He's doing the whole number
longer than 5 years. That's an expertise. So there it is.
He's doing, like when he's getting up and and I'm watching him do it, and I'm like,
Well, we've also seen the way that fighters react to getting rocked. And, I'm not saying it's the same across the board.
Sure, but because there's different situations, and not everybody reacts the same. And I don't want to say it's fucking tough, man, because I don't want to discredit Aljamain and say, oh, dude, you were fucking faking it. I don't want to do that to him because I like Aljo. I followed his career for a while. So I don't want to come out and fucking say that, but he's making it tough because it was just really fucking weird how, it definitely seemed like he milked it a little bit. And then almost like as soon as they stopped the fight, he got pissed off and, dropped the belt. He made a whole theatrics of, I don't want this belt. Blah, blah,
Reminded
blah.
me of that song from Prodigy. Inhale, inhale, you're the victim.
It's tough, man. I don't know. I don't want to think that he faked that. Now, I will say this on the same situation is the rule where, so like when a disqualification happens like that, and say like that situation, I've seen it in person where, and I'm sure you have too, where someone gets kneed and they're a grounded opponent and they get fucked. I watched a guy, he got kneed in the face and he was fucked up, and it was clear he was he was fucked up, but they were like, can you continue? And him being a fucking, just warrior spirit kind of shit, I don't want to say no, he got up and fucking continued and then continued to get knocked out later. But I don't think that responsibility should be on the fucking fighter at all. That should be either a doctor call or a ref call.
No, of course. It should be a doctor call or a ref call. But the reason that I also call a little foul on this is because of the psychology of the cell. You know as well as I do that the true injuries, especially on the pro wrestling side, they usually don't sell. There's usually a very different visceral reaction. Right. And it's usually not the same. Usually what you see is you see someone kind of turtle up, or there's a blank expression on their face instead of the oversell. And that's why I look at the psychology of it. And when I see someone injured like that, every now and then you'll see someone friggin' what's his name when he broke his leg. Anderson Silva sure sold the hell out of that, but that fucking hurts. And I have seen that injury. Dude, I have seen that injury so many times. And I have seen people that have oversold it, but I have also seen people that absolutely have taken it and were more pissed off that they got injured and the fight was over and he had to stop fighting.
Have you ever seen that injury in person?
I just told you many times over my 18 years in the industry, I would probably say that I have seen that at least 7 times. At least 7 times.
I remember what it sounded like on TV, and it sounded like a fucking bat cracking.
It is. It's bone on bone. It's bone on bone. It's a fucking home run. It's a fucking home run. And yes, I have seen it. And yes, I've seen that leg hang by nothing but, skin, tendons, and muscle tissue. I have. It sucks, man. Don't you remember the infamous incident in WCW with Sid Vicious when he was up against Big Papa Pump?
And he went for the double axe handle.
No, he didn't go for the double axe handle. He went for a single boot. He was on the second rope, and he decided to deliver one boot and land all of his weight down on one leg. I had never seen anybody do anything like that before.
Oh, yeah.
He delivered. It was almost like a one boot to the face and have that 330-pound frame land on one leg.
Yeah.
I don't know why he did that. That was just a bad judgment call right there, man. That was bad. And I know you're looking for it.
You damn right I'm looking for
Well,
it.
of course you are, because all of a sudden your face is like real white, and it's like computer screen white. Computer screen white. Josh has got computer screen Caucasianism.
Computer screen white. That doesn't sound. That sounds racially incorrect, man.
What's incorrect? What's incorrect about it?
That's not right.
What's not right about it?
It's just not right.
Well, what's not right about it? See, look at this. Why would you do that?
Oh, look at the left foot. That is so difficult to watch. While we were watching the mystery opponent come in. Now, Sid Vicious up on top.
Oh, man.
That is so difficult to watch. We've seen it already.
Why would you do that, though?
Already so many times.
Who the fuck delivers a single boot off of the second rope?
That fucking thing just collapsed right under
I know.
him.
I know. And look at it. Dude, he's handling it.
Last night.
That's a crack.
The mystery opponent come in. Now, Sid Vicious up on top.
Why? I'm going to tell you something. Since that was done, let me ask you something. Have you ever seen anybody do that?
No.
No. Because that's a God. Have you ever seen anybody deliver a fucking boot off the second rope?
The compound fracture of the tibia and the
No. That's a little bit more than a compound. That's a complete fracture.
Surgery had a 43-centimeter steel rod inserted.
Ugh. Oh, he had to relearn. He had to relearn how to walk. That was just so bad. But why would you do that? Why would you put that much weight behind you? I mean, if you're going to do a drop kick of any kind off the top rope, make sure that you got both feet hitting your opponent instead of just one, because you got all that weight coming down. And, you know, like I said, Sid's a big guy. He's a legitimate 6'7", 6'8", a legitimate 330 pounds, and all that weight coming down on just one leg. And he didn't even land the right way on that one leg. Because you remember, you saw his foot, it slipped. He didn't. He couldn't even, hit that landing right on that one. Like, ugh. Yes, I have seen that injury many, many times. I saw that injury a couple of times. What are you doing? Ugh.
Oh!
Which one are you watching?
Oh, I don't even have it on. Hold on.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
My leg's broke, dude.
Wait, watch this. Watch.
I don't know which is worse, the broken leg or all that ass crack. Oh
my God, my leg's broke, dude.
Oh, fuck. Oh, shit.
Call 911, please.
I thought he was going to start going, eh.
Ouch. I sure fucking did. Well, I just got out of the hospital. I've been in there for 5 days.
Yeah, but oh man, I don't need to say it again. I don't need to say. Look at all that fucking ass crack coming out there, man. Man. Oh man,
let's be fair. Let's be honest. Let's be honest about that.
Guy, there's a reason why you don't see too many people of that shape skateboarding.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Like, I'm a big guy. My fucking ass wouldn't be on a skateboard because I know better.
And you may be a big guy, but that was a big guy. That was a guy who looked like he was pushing about 350, easy 350, possibly even getting closer to 400 pounds. And I hate to say it, man. I know that you may be a skateboard enthusiast, but your ass does not belong on a skateboard when that is your physical self, man. That's just asking for disaster, brother. There's a reason why skateboarders are fit and in shape and such. There's a very, very good reason. But then again, he was just fucking around, everything like that. He took it well. He wasn't bitching and whining. He said, please call 911, had his presence about himself and everything like that. Probably adrenaline was still, adrenaline was probably still going. But I guarantee you, man, he was probably screaming when he got into that fucking ambulance. Once that adrenaline wears off, oof, God.
When I broke my hand, that's kind of what happened. Like I broke it, and the fucking bone was almost like popping through the skin, And at that moment, it didn't hurt really at all. It was just more like adrenaline than anything. And I remember saying like, we need to go to the hospital. Like that calm. I was like, we need to go to the hospital.
Oh God. Too many movies have too many injuries coming through the bone. I was watching this horror movie, cave movie. You know that movie, The Descent?
Yes, I do.
God, how many protruding
good movie.
It is, but how many protruding bone scenes were in that fucking movie?
Yeah.
And it's even that much more fucked up when it's an all-female cast on top of that.
But because I think it's disturbing. It's like the especially with it being like all female, maybe it kind of adds.
And remember they had that one girl who was the hot shot of the bunch. They had to go ahead and put that shit back in the old-fashioned way.
Yeah.
When they wanted to put the splint on her leg, they had to fucking push that bone back through the skin so that they could line it up to put on the splint. I mean, that's that's nasty. That's just fucking nasty. Also reminds me of this movie that I was watching. You ever see that movie, The Edge, with Anthony Hopkins? And
one of my favorite movies.
Dude, it's actually not bad, right?
It's one of my favorite. I'm mad that at least I haven't found it. I've been looking for like a Blu-ray version,
like a Blu-ray version. Yeah. No, dude,
I know it exists on DVD. I've yet to find it on Blu-ray.
It's not Alec Baldwin's worst affair and such. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. When he was about to shoot Anthony Hopkins and then he fell into the deadfall, dude, I'm going to tell you, I felt, dude, he made me believe that he was in trouble.
The fucking bear scene,
yeah.
Like the bear and shit.
Dude, whether or not that this is a trained bear, don't tell me you're not pissing your fucking pants, because I'm telling you, Bart was a big fucking bear. I mean, there's a difference between a movie trained bear and a fucking ginormous fucking monster like fucking Bart the Bear. Bart the Bear was 11 feet tall.
What about
Jesus Christ?
The fucking bear scene in The Revenant. You remember that shit?
Well, that wasn't a bear.
It wasn't a bear?
No.
Wasn't it a bear?
No.
What was it?
That was a 350-pound guy in a blue suit.
But I'm saying it was a bear.
No, I mean, no. It was an actual person that was wrestling around with him. And the one thing he did an interview earlier on. He did an interview after the movie came out, and he said the only bad thing about this is that during that scene, I became way too familiar with Leonardo DiCaprio's crotch. And such. But no. As far as the scene itself, dude, it was hard to watch. Dude, it was hard to fucking watch. It was believable, man, the way, because I'm going to tell you, the first time I saw that movie, when I saw those little cubs break through the brush, I'm like, oh, fuck.
It's coming.
Oh, fuck. That's not good.
Yeah.
That's not. You want to talk about the wrong place at the wrong fucking time. Be around a female bear and her fucking cubs.
Ooh. I might have to watch. Matter of fact, I might have to watch that tonight.
Dude, that's a great fucking movie.
It's a good movie. Very underrated too.
That's a great fucking movie. No, he got the Oscar nod for that, and he had earned it because, I mean, you got to think about where he shot that movie. All the unforgivable environments that he was in, man. He was in fucking freezing cold fucking water, man. He was crawling through snow. I mean, he went the extra mile for that movie. And I can appreciate when an actor, takes that step, takes that next step and sees something and say, something, I'm gonna go beyond bearing my fucking soul. I'm gonna brave the elements. I'm gonna brave the goddamn elements, and I'm gonna make this as believable as possible. And you know what? It was. What's the name of the one guy that was that was his enemy? I keep forgetting his name. He was in The Warrior. He was in Venom. He was Bane in The Dark Knight. What is his name?
Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy was fantastic. Tom Hardy played one hell of a fucking hateable enemy in that. In that. And so, honestly, it was so everybody was waiting for him to get his fucking just desserts throughout that whole goddamn movie. And I love at the end when he had the opportunity to fucking put him away, and he said, "You know what? Let the Native American, let me float them on down here. Then just floated them down there, and they went ahead, cut that shit off, man, and he got to suffer. And he got to suffer after that, man. Good movie, man. Big thumbs up for the Revenant.
Fucking movie. Yeah.
Solid fucking movie, man.
I might have to watch that tonight.
Like you said, underrated. And honestly, some definitely as far as Leo DiCaprio. Leo DiCaprio is very lucky for having incredible cinematography in his movies.
Yeah.
But The Revenant was definitely one of the best cinematography, man. That was a clean movie. That was so well shot.
Revenant,
it was beautiful.
Shutter Island, Inception. I mean, like he's lucky. The Departed, like he's got a long list of some really good fucking movies.
Dude, he's got good production. He's got good production behind him. He really does. He's got fucking Titanic. When you got James Cameron at the helm, man, it doesn't get much better than that. But he was a little young at that to actually honestly get the Noscarad. You know, I mean, he was still an up-and-coming, actor and everything. Just got a huge fucking role, and he was. I think that was like at the peak of like his heartthrob, or he was a fucking heartthrob everywhere and everything. Yeah. And now he just looks like a regular dude. Yeah. Now he just, he's fatter, he's bigger, and everything like that. He just looks like he's morphed into a regular-looking human being.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has. You want to see somebody who's morphed into a regular-looking human being, and it's actually kind of sad. Have you seen Russell Crowe lately?
Yeah. I saw that.
Unhinged. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Jesus, how the fuck did he get out of the car door? He had to have been easily pushing 300 pounds. He had to be probably pushing 300.
That was a pretty vicious scene at the very fucking end when she stabs him in the fucking eye with the scissors.
Yeah. That
was pretty vicious.
Well, I definitely take my hat off to him on a movie like that, because it's ballsy to do a movie like that, especially to something that is so real. I mean, was it over the top? The reactions, of course it is. It's a fucking movie. It's supposed to be over the top. But road rage is a very real thing. It's something that
almost anybody can identify with, whether they've done it or they've seen it happen to somebody else,
But people say it's over the top. I'm like, welcome to fucking Hollywood. Jesus.
The scene where
what about the diner scene with it? With
that's
friend?
what I was.
That was fucked. That was
disturbing.
Up. That was fucked up, man. That was fucked up. That was just wrong guy to fuck with on the wrong day. Wrong day, and he was already trying to get away from something that he did. When he burned down that fucking house at the beginning and shit and killed people. But still, wow.
Yeah.
That's messed up. But all good things as far as the fight world are concerning. Everything's moving well. Like I said, BKFC 16 coming up. BKFC 17 still has a yet to release date. We're definitely going to get a date in April. That's for sure. May. I mean, I think that BKFC is on board to give an event once a month. I wouldn't be surprised if sometime this year we didn't, give 2 in 1 month.
Well, I've heard Arizona is going to be a prime candidate for a card. I've heard Alabama, which they're doing the
Alabama. We're already overdue for Alabama. We had a couple of opportunities previously that never came to fruition with Alabama, so that's good to finally see that coming to. Arizona is going to be, if we do Arizona, there's one place that I think that Bare Knuckle would thrive at. I would love to do it. I've done shows there before, and I'd love to do the Celebrity Theater. Dude, that's an awesome venue. That's an awesome venue. I've been there so many times for Showbox. It's a very tight venue, but it would look really cool with the squared circle. However, I don't know if the squared circle would actually fit, because it is a smaller venue, but it's a Coliseum stacked up. It looks real cool. It's not one of those places to where you can have yourself like a huge technical zone. And the last time I did boxing there was no technical zone. I mean, it was practically non-existent because the floor space was limited for that. So, and how
it was just like a raw feel, just like a raw.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it looked awesome on camera. look fucking awesome on camera and such, but I don't know if there's enough floor space to accommodate the squared circle. That's a lot of space that sucker takes up, man. That's a big ring. Even though that it looks smaller inside, but you got to figure the apron space on that fucking ring. There's so much apron space on that goddamn ring.
Yeah.
But it is pretty. It is pretty. As far as I'm concerned, it's my favorite. It's my favorite fighting service out of all the rings that I've been in, out of all the cages that I've been in through all the years. And trust me, I've been in a fucking lot. I have gone up and down those steps to the ring and the cage more time. I can't believe my knees aren't blown after all that shit. But the one thing I can say is that walking up those stairs to the squared circle is my favorite walk. That's my favorite walk, getting into that squared circle, man. It's just so fucking unique. You know, Gary Grant really hit a home run as far as ring design on this one. He really did. I mean, but, you know, you got to figure how much experience, you know, Gary's had behind that. He's got that, engineering background.
Yeah.
And, and as that's not the only ring that he rents out. He's got a plethora of boxing rings and MMA cages and such. That's what he does for a living on top of that. But like I said, I remember when I saw this for the first time and I was just like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. You don't normally see a debut event with such an impressive ring.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Debut. I mean, look at how big the fucking octagon was in UFC 1.
Right.
It was huge.
Yeah.
Dude, you could sprint. If you wanted to like deliver a flying knee, you had to sprint. That was a big fuck. I mean, it wasn't very tall. It wasn't very tall. It maybe came up to, the regular sized person right about here and such, but it was massive. It was wide.
Yeah.
That was a wide motherfucker. But when you see this for the first time, the way that the turnbuckles are arranged in a circular motion, the way that the ropes are arranged, when you get in there, the solid feel of that ring.
Yeah.
Dude, it's second to none. It's
fucking different.
It really is different, man. And a lot of people knocked it at first because it was so fucking different. But a lot of people have changed their tune. I think so too. They've changed their tune about it because it's becoming that iconic fight surface for bare knuckle. If anybody knows, and do you remember how much shit that we got when we constantly called it the squared circle?
Yeah.
The chat forums were eating us alive because, I mean, of course, I'm saying it, commentary saying it, Dave's saying it, the fighters are saying it, because at one point
it's a circled square,
either circled square or, they're just, they're saying, oh, that's a boxing term, blah, 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 whatever. Now, but I'm like, no, that's the actual name of it. It's not a term of endearment. It's not a nickname.
That's what it is.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And I think people have not only accepted it, but now they see that the way that it's designed to keep the fight going.
Right.
It's designed to keep the fight going. I really would like to see Valor. If Valor is going to continue, which they are, I'd really like to see them redo the fighting pit.
The pit.
I'd like to see. Remember we talked about this. I'd like to see solid walls. I'd like to see solid, maybe to have a kind of like almost like a sunken pit kind of, but solid walls around it as opposed to embankments. Because the minute that you get onto that embankment, the fight has to stop and recenter. You don't have the opportunity to have an uninterrupted all-out war. Now, I guarantee you, if Jason Knight and Artem Lobov had fought in that pit,
it wouldn't have been
it wouldn't have looked nothing. No, it would have constantly been broken up. It would have been constantly been broken up. So that momentum would have automatically been killed.
Right.
It automatically would. With that circle, with that design is there for the fighters to go to fucking war. And true fucking war. It happened again. With Taylor Starling and Teresa Segala.
Right.
Same thing happened there. Same situation. Almost, it was prettier with Jason Knight and Artem Lobov, but they were more fight veterans than Starling and Segala. They were. But it was still a fucking war. It was still an uninterrupted fucking war. And a lot of that has to do with the dynamics and the design of the squared circle. And that's why I love it, is because you get to see more of those uninterrupted wars. You get to see those wars of attrition. You throw the fucking rule book out. You just get in there. You get your hands fucking dirty. And you have a fight surface that keeps the momentum for the war continued.
And speaking of that, really, is make sure, guys, you sign up for that BKTV app. $3.99 a month.
Out. Dude, you're missing out.
You'll get the Bare Knuckle Kingdom stuff that we were talking about earlier. They finally
and the Total Line Fight Series, once they finally decide to, they finally schedule an opportunity to go over the pond. They were supposed to go to Manchester. Unfortunately, that hasn't happened as of yet because of all the COVID restrictions.
They just announced May. They're saying May. Yeah,
good.
for UK for Total Line. Every bare knuckle card coming up, at least that we know of, is going to be on this app. So go check it out.
More content can only help the brand.
100%, man. I guess, guys, we're at about an hour and 45 here. We appreciate you if you stuck around this long. God bless you.
No, you probably didn't, but we appreciate you sticking around 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I mean, we go all over the fucking place, guys. We are not scripted. We may talk about this just a little bit prior to the show, but as far as having a scripted show, you guys who watch us know for a fact that just isn't the case. And we got to go. It's a shoot. We got to go off the fucking cuff or not at all.
Absolutely. And we appreciate you. I guess that's it, Jeff. That's my man, Jeff Houston, the ringmaster himself, Mr. Labrawad. I am Joshua Furs. This was Loudmouth Fisticuffs episode 42. Dos. I don't know how to say that.
It's 42.
There it is.
42.
And we appreciate you. Much love. Don't forget to use your protection.
And we'll see you